Oh my God. Look at the difference. I've just painted it black. You want to be careful if you have fresh paint. I'm going to do my best not to scratch it. I'm sure I'm going to. Good Lord, that looks good. Wow. Hey, welcome back. Episode 18 of our engine rebuild. Oh man, final stretch. I'm getting excited. I'm looking forward to this video too because as you'll see in a few minutes, it'll be a little change from what we had before. And if it's your first time here, check it out. That's how we got here. Broke a lifter, had to take the engine apart, blah, 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 blah. So, welcome back if you're already subscribed. And today is time to talk about a serpentine belt system for your engine. So I have a March Performance serpentine belt system. The reason is when I grew up with this car, yes, my dad bought it brand new. I learned to drive on it, but I experienced all those issues that all of you muscleheads experience with old cars, and that's overheating for one, which we tackled with our water pump install. Some tips and tricks. In the last episode, we did the AN fittings in the back, which was my cooling tip for Pontiac motors. I don't know if it works for Chevys. So besides cooling, the other issue is throwing belts. So if you haven't experienced throwing a belt, go take a belt off your car and see how long you last driving it. So what happens is when a belt comes off, you've seen them, there are multiple belts on a pulley. You throw one belt, if it's the rear belt, you take all the belts off, and now you have no water pump. And if you have no water pump, you're not going to go very far. Whew, I hated that. So the trick now is to convert it to a modern type belt system, which is called a serpentine belt, and it runs all the accessories off of one splined belt. It's pretty awesome, and it looks cool too. So having said that about the looks, this is the surprise. So check out this picture. This is what the engine looked like before we pulled it out, and I'll admit it's got way too much chrome and non-painted parts, let's call it. So John, I know you pointed that out, you called me out on it, so I'm obliging because we did one thing, we painted the heads, so we got rid of that aluminum color. The other thing is the bracket, the March system bracket. Not anymore. Ooh, look at that. Oh man, I can't wait to put this on. I painted it, but I know that nowadays you can actually order your March system with a few different color options. I think one is standard gloss black. There's another one called black onyx, which I think is black chrome. And I've seen a motor with that on it, and it looks pretty spectacular. And you can get it from most part suppliers, even OPGI. They have them too. I thought OPGI only sold, GTO and Chevelle stuff, but I didn't know they had aftermarket performance parts, so that's kind of cool. So that being said, let me walk you through what tools you're going to need here, and we'll get going. Okay guys, so for starters, this is the Style Track version. There's a lower cost version. I don't remember what it's called, but this is the Style Track, and it's with AC and power steering. So it's the works package. So besides your instruction manual, make sure you get yourself some calipers. And this is probably the most critical one because a lot of the call-outs in the instructions are specific lengths in decimal. So get yourself some calipers if you don't have some already. Go to Amazon. They're less than 20 bucks for a decent set, and you can even get digital. So I have digital, but it's in my office desk. So besides that, you're also going to need empirical and metric Allens. There are both in here, which is frustrating because sometimes you forget and you can't figure out why your keys don't fit. And your basic socket set, and probably some washers, some shimming washers. Because we're going to go through how you should inspect to make sure you're lined up. And let's get going. So first things first is you have to put your water pump on. And we did that in a previous episode, so check that out. because you only install certain bolts into the water pump. There are 5 that are installed and 2 standoffs. Now when I torqued them down in that video, I did a trick where I put one of my intake manifold bolts in this stud so I can put torque on these 2 standoffs. It worked really well. Review that video if you haven't seen it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The next step, the very next step, is actually to put the bracket on. So we're going to see some immediate color change. Hey guys, before I forget, before we put our bracket on, get your key, your lockdown plate for your intake manifold, and make sure you have clearance with your gasket here. So right in this spot, I had to take my X-Acto knife and cut the gasket away to get down to the divider plate so the key will fit. So I got that to fit perfectly. So make sure you do that, because once your bracket's on here, it's going to be really difficult to get in there to cut that gasket away. Hey, another thing I just forgot about, and I explained this in the water pump video, but these standoffs have a standard length that we put on the water pump. Now you have to pay attention to the thickness of your water pump. Notice on this side it's thinner, and this side is thicker. So what I did was I took my calipers and I measured from the timing chain cover to the end of the standoff on this side, and then you just take that same measurement and go to the other side, and that will determine how many washers you put in between, because you want this face of the standoff to be the same distance from the timing chain cover as this face. That'll ensure when we put the bracket on, it's perfectly straight. Alright team, here we go. So your system comes with 3 idler pulleys, and 2 of them are going to get used immediately here. And if you look at your pulley really close, there's a standoff built in to the bearing on one side, and on the other side it's kind of a dish. This faces out, so you have your washer and bolt goes through just like that. So I'm going to get 2 pulleys and 2 of the bigger bolts that go right into our standoffs, and I'm going to put them on loosely at first, and then we'll torque them down in a little bit later. Oh my God! Look at the difference. I've just painted it black. Oh wow, this is awesome. Yeah, our next step here is to put our alternator support bracket on. So our alternator is going to sit in this spot, and this is how the bracket's going to sit. So we put the alternator right here. And what we're going to do is we need our 1.450 length standoffs. So I have 2 of them. We're going to go in between the bracket, this bracket, and our black bracket, and we're going to use the 2 holes that are in the water pump that do not have bolts. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put anti-seize on those bolts. Anytime you bolt into an aluminum part, it's always a good idea to put anti-seize in there, just in case you don't want it to gall. So that's what I'm going to do, and this will probably be in fast motion for you. Okay, while we're on this side, last thing to do is to put this little bushing in. This actually adjusts. When we put our alternator in, we can adjust that distance to close up that gap once our alternator's in. So put that bushing in now, and we'll go to the other side. Alright guys, same thing on this side. So here's our our air conditioning compressor bracket. And we have these 2 standoffs. These measure differently than the other side. That's why you have to be careful. These are 1.330 inches. The other side are 1.450. So these are going to go in here, and we're going to put our screws in and mount through our water pump. Again, I'm going to use anti-seize on the bolts and just finger tight, because everything's finger tight right now. Alright guys, so I have a similar challenge here that we had with this upper standoff where we had a different thickness on the flange. So the same thing here. So this one is a little bit shallow as compared to this surface. That's where this the bracket touches this surface. So you can see the difference there. So what I'm going to do is just rotate the bracket up, and then I'm going to measure this distance with my calipers in between the boss and the bracket, and then I'm going to try and find washers to make up that difference. So it looks like I have about 80 thousandths to make up, so I'm going to start hunting for washers. Alright, I'm back. I found 2 washers that I put together, and it's pretty darn close to 80 thousandths. So I'm going to go ahead and put these washers in between the bracket and the water pump. Alright, it looks pretty good. So I'm going to start tightening some of the bolts to make sure we still have evenness. I don't want to see this bracket bending when I'm tightening the bolts. I tightened the 4 what I call main inside bolts. I did not torque them down, but they're pretty tight. And then I checked the bushings on the side. See how loose that is? So I started to tighten this one, and you tighten it until it starts to get tight, which it is right now. And if you still have play there, that means you have too much play. Because if you go any further, you're going to start bending this bracket. So what you do is you back off a little bit, and if you can stick a washer in there like that, you need a washer. So I'm going to go ahead and take this screw out, put that washer in. I know I still have 2 washers in here that I hope don't come out, but I'm going to back the screw out, put that washer in. Alright, we're all set. These are really nice and tight on this side all the way around, except for the alternator side. So I'm gonna do the same trick, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I just did the washer trick to the alternator side. Everything is finger loose, except these 2, they're still tight. But I'm gonna go ahead and start torquing. So I'm gonna torque these. All of the bolts that go into the timing chain cover are at 15 pound-feet of torque, which is the same torque we did for the water pump. So I'm going to start with these 2 and then work my way out on the other 4 bolts. Alright, all the water pump bolts are in. Alright team, next step is we have to put another idler pulley right here. Now if you've painted before, or this is freshly powder coated, you might need to chase those threads. I've probably never pointed these out to you before, but you can actually get thread chasers. I honestly don't remember where I got this. Check OPGI, but they're not taps. They're actually chasers. They're specifically for cleaning out the threads. So I already found one, and I'm just going to run it through here a few times, get that paint out so I can easily put the bolt in. After I do that, I'm going to use anti-seize on the bolt and put the pulley right on. All right, team, time to put the alternator in. So remember the bushing we put in that bracket? It actually takes a 3/8 inch socket, so I'm going to leave it in there because once we put our alternator in, we tighten this to match the alternator depth, and then we're going to run a bolt through the front, through this bushing, and then put a lock nut on the back. And then on the top we have this nut, and this is 10 millimeter, 6mm hex on there. So you want to be careful if you have fresh paint. I'm going to do my best not to scratch it. I'm sure I'm going to. So here we go. So here's that bushing, and you want to tighten it up. Just like that. I'm going to run my mounting bolt all the way through. Alright guys, on the power steering side, the air conditioning compressor side, there's a bolt that goes in back on the back tab through the compressor. Make sure you put that bolt in first on the compressor before you drop it in, otherwise you can't get the bolt in. I'm not going to do it right now because if you guys recall, when we pulled the motor, I left this attached to the air conditioning system, so it's sitting in the engine bay as well as the power steering pump. But they're very easy to put together. And once we get the engine installed, I'll walk everyone through how to set the belt tension. You basically use these two. There's another similar bolt just like this that goes through the compressor, and there's a special tool that pushes them apart as you set it up. So right now I'm going to do the simple fun stuff, and that's attach all my pulley guards and my water pump pulley and see how it looks. Good Lord, that looks good. Wow. Thanks, John. That's your fault that I actually painted that black. It totally breaks up the monotony of all that chrome and color. I think it pops. It matches the valve covers. We still have the option to paint these black if I wanted to, or maybe get black fasteners. Who knows? Man, so if you guys have a brand new system, you probably know that you have to torque this pulley on the alternator. Just use an impact wrench. When we put the engine back in the car, we'll be able to finish putting these accessories on, but they're straightforward. They're not as complicated as the other brackets we had to go through the water pump, and that's probably why I had an issue with the standoffs. Is it's a flow cooler water pump, so it's not like an Edelbrock or an OEM water pump. So check those distances just to make sure. You don't want to be tweaking on the bracket too much, and you're going to have to offset it with some shims. So next episode, we're going to go ahead and put the intake manifold on. We still have some issues there that we have to fix. And, thanks for being here. Subscribe if you haven't. And you know the drill. Building fast. Driving faster. See ya.